What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I know it's been a while, but I'm back for just in time for your fantasy drafts coming up probably this week if they haven't happened already. So today I'll get right into it. Today we're going to be going over the best values in Yahoo drafts as well as a little bit of a Yahoo draft strategy that I think will work really well. Don't forget, if you haven't already signed up for Underdog Fantasy, use my code LVRN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And you can get in on these drafts with the sharpest ADP in fantasy. There's real money drafts going on every day. In Underdog, you can join Best Ball Mania, which is a $25 contest with a chance to win $3 million for first place. So definitely make sure you check that out, and definitely make sure you join Underdog Fantasy using code LVRN for a deposit match. All right, so let's get into it. So starting off here at the quarterback position, as you can see here, this is Underdog ADP, and this here is the Yahoo ADP, and this is the difference. So as you can see here, almost all of the top 12-ish quarterbacks are pushed down in ADP on Yahoo. So that is great for shallow leagues. If you're in a 10-team league or even like a 12, 14-team league that is a shallow starting lineup, like you have one quarterback, two running back, two receivers, a flex and a tight end, and then kicker defense. If you're in a league like that, then Yahoo is going to be a great place for the drafts to happen, considering the ADP for quarterbacks. Now, when you're in a shallow league, more positional value is attributed to the quarterback because you only start one quarterback, two running backs, two receivers, a tight end, and a flex. So you only have 6 players and 8 players total if you count defenses and kicker starting in your lineup week to week. So that one quarterback or one tight end is going to really make a difference in your lineup. So when you're in a shallow league, make sure that you're always drafting quarterbacks and tight ends higher up. And especially even in a non-shallow league, it's going to benefit you to draft one of these higher end quarterbacks, one of these top 7 quarterbacks, because as you can see, all of them are bumped down in ADP. Patrick Mahomes is almost 10 spots below ADP on Underdog. Another one, Joe Burrow, almost a full round in a 12-team format, and over a full round in a 10-team format below ADP. Lamar Jackson is a full round below ADP in a 10-team format, and that is same with Justin Fields. That is just a crazy value, but by far the best value when going off of the differential between Underdog and Yahoo is Justin Herbert, going nearly 2 full 12-team rounds below his Underdog ADP. And to add on that, I already like Justin Herbert in Underdog drafts, and at the price of his current ADP. I'm a big fan of him going into this year, even though I'm a Raiders fan. I think the addition of Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator is going to be very good for Justin Herbert in fantasy. I guess we'll see if it'll actually translate to wins, but they are going to throw the ball a ridiculous amount. They drafted Quentin Johnson. They now have 3 very good receivers, and Gerald Everett, who's not too bad of a tight end for receiving, and Eckler, who is probably the second best receiving back in the NFL. That offense is going to throw the ball more than any other offense this year, I believe. I believe they'll have the most passing attempts this year. And so Justin Herbert is going to be a benefactor of that system. So by far the best value here, Justin Herbert. Draft him in your Yahoo leagues. Maybe even stack him up with one of those Chargers receivers or Eckler. Make sure that you draft one of these high-end quarterbacks. You don't want to be in this range where you have Daniel Jones over 2 full rounds above ADP. Dak Prescott above ADP. Geno Smith above ADP. You don't want one of those quarterbacks that you're reaching on. And plus, get the positional advantage. Take the extra price and get the positional advantage. We're going to move on here to tight ends. Now, this is a completely different story. For some reason in Yahoo, almost every single tight end is pushed up. Now, this is not ideal because, like I just mentioned, you want to have a positional advantage when it comes to tight ends and quarterbacks in shallow leagues. So if you're in a shallow league, does not necessarily benefit you, but it also doesn't hurt you because it's not like everybody's drafting on Yahoo. So everybody is following these ADPs that are on Yahoo. It's just going to be harder to find value at the tight end position. Unless if you can get Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews, those are by far the two best tight end values in on Yahoo. Now also Darren Waller is a good value. I like him at 78 ADP. That's a great value. It's about where he was going earlier on in the offseason on Underdog. I believe he's pushed up farther than 67 on Underdog. This ADP was from about a week ago. So he's been getting a lot of buzz, so he's gotten pushed up in ADP. I don't like him at his current ADP in Underdog. I think he's overvalued. I would much rather wait and get Pitts or Goddard, but that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about that. By far, the two best value are the top two tight ends. So if you can go out there and get them, that is going to help your squad tremendously, especially in shallow leagues. Make sure you stay away from Pat Freiermuth in Yahoo drafts, especially at that 81 ADP. That is a ridiculous overpay. Do not draft him there. And I don't know why you would be drafting Chig in Yahoo drafts. If for some reason you're drafting him as your tight end one, don't do it. Just don't. I would rather wait and get Gerald Everett, Irv Smith, one of these late round guys. I'm a big Irv Smith guy. He's my most drafted tight end on Underdog because he's so cheap and he's in a great offense if there ever was to be some sort of injury where targets opened up. As long as he can stay healthy, he will be the benefactor of those targets, and that is going to be a great offense once again this year. So heading into running back, now all of these running backs, at least the top running backs, are going to be pushed up in value. That is simply just because most Yahoo drafts are 2 running back, 2 receiver, and a flex. Obviously, there are some differences. Sometimes there are more deep starting lineups on Yahoo, but for the most part, they're all shallow starting lineups. Whereas on Underdog, running backs are pushed down the board because it's start 3 wide receivers, and 2 running backs. So running backs get pushed down the board. But that being said, as you'll see next in the next position group, wide receivers, there's a ton of value to be had at wide receiver because of this. So my advice to all of you is please make sure you draft your running backs early. Draft at least 2 running backs through the first 3 rounds, and I would even say try and draft 3 running backs through the first 4 or 5 rounds. It's not going to be the same as Underdog if you're coming from an Underdog draft. Obviously, it's a different format, but it's going to help your team a lot. There's not a ton of value at the top, so I'm going to stray away from saying what are good values, and instead I'm going to steer you clear of some running backs that you need to steer clear of. So here is the biggest differential in Yahoo ADP versus Underdog ADP. And as you can see here, I don't know why you'd be drafting Kenneth Gainwell at this point. There's far better wide receiver value to be had. So definitely do not draft him. I'm going to skip all of these mid to late round running back, all these late round running backs because they're not really relevant. You're not going to be rostering them in most formats. Cam Akers. Please stay away from Cam Akers at pick 41. You should, in no world should you be taking Cam Akers in the 4th round. That is an unbelievable overpay. Please don't do that. Also, stay away from J.K. Dobbins. Going also in that same range of Cam Akers. They're both running backs with question marks in offenses that both have question marks when it comes to running backs. Obviously, the Baltimore offense is much better than the Rams offense projects to be this year, but Dobbins has Lamar. Also, they have shown they have liked to run a committee, and with a new offensive coordinator, they're primed to pass the ball more because they used to just be almost 60% of the time they would run the ball. Aaron Jones, another one. Do not draft him at 26. Please do not draft him at 26. This one might be the worst, although it's less than the other two. I cannot stand that he is going at 26. That is just past the 2-3 turn, and that is just a horrible value. Please, please, if you want to have any chance winning your fantasy football league this year, please don't draft Aaron Jones in the 3rd round. It's just not a good value. I don't even like him at his 50 ADP in underdog. So why the heck would I go out there and draft him at 26? Don't do it. It's not going to be worth it. You're going to set your team back. So don't do it. James Conner, love the ADP at 80 and underdog. Not so much. 56, too steep of a price tag for me. If he falls past that ADP in my home league draft or all my Yahoo drafts that I do, I will consider taking him, but not much higher than 80 for me. Dameon Pierce, I mean, I like Dameon Pierce. I do, especially at the 64 price tag. I have a decent amount of him in underdog, but again, if you're taking him at 42, you should already have your running backs by then. You shouldn't be taking Dameon Pierce because there is a ton of wide receiver value. There's so much wide receiver value to be had there at round 45 at Yahoo. So please do not draft him. And just as a general note, do not draft mid to late round running backs. Mid-round running backs, I should say, in Yahoo. Those should be spent on receivers because the value is better there. And the running back value just is not. So please stay away from mid to late round running backs. Now we'll go to receiver. These is going to be the complete opposite story of running backs, as I stated. Right off the bat, the best value as far as the highest valued ADP on underdog is Calvin Ridley. I don't like him at his 24 ADP in underdog. It's not to say I don't like him as a fantasy player this year. I think he will be phenomenal in that offense, and I think the Jaguars are going to be very good. But at 24, I think there's better value to be had. But at 38, I love the value. I am drafting him every single time at 38 if he is there. Heck, I'll probably even draft him at like 30 to 35. Like it's a great value in that range, far beyond the value of other running backs in that range. Now we can go down here and you can just see the value here. This is all, remember where Cam Akers and J.K. Dobbins and Dameon Pierce were going. This is all in that same range where they were going, and this is just phenomenal value to be had here. Mike Williams, again, going back to that Justin Herbert stack, him and Keenan Allen are almost... Keenan Allen is a round and a half past ADP, and Mike Williams is almost 3 full rounds past ADP. I'm begging you. That LA Chargers stack is going to win people a lot of leagues this year. You can book that right now. You can put that in the books. If you are drafting on Yahoo, please, I'm begging you, if you want to win your league, please try to get that Chargers stack. The value is so good. It is phenomenal value. You can get not only that stack, but most likely Keenan Allen, Mike Williams at this ADP is going to be your second, maybe even third receiver. So you're going to have great receivers above them, even if for some reason they get injured, which they do have injury history. Christian Watson, another breakout candidate for me. 25 picks past ADP. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is crazy. It is criminal. Jerry Jeudy, he has injury concerns, but I will still take him around 59, 60. I would prefer to take him later, honestly. This obviously this ADP is before his injury. So I wouldn't be scurrying to draft Jerry Jeudy. Don't do that. Christian Kirk, I'm not a huge fan of, but at 71, the value's great. Not Deontay Johnson, JSN, the value at 85 is unreal. Please draft JSN. Heck, even if you have to go a round up, I love JSN. I'm a huge JSN fan this year. I think that there is a world, maybe this one, that JSN leads the Seahawks in receptions this year. He's going to be a reception monster, and I think he's going to be a great receiver for a long time. I know this isn't dynasty, but this year I know he has a wrist injury right now. He should be ready for week 2 probably, maybe not week 1, but probably week 2 or 3 he should be good to go. And at pick 85, you're not getting someone that you're really expecting to start week 1 anyways. So you might as well take the flyer on him, even if you take him at 75 instead of 85. As we just go down the board here, you're going to see more rookies that are pushed down. I will sort by that really quickly. As you can see right here, this is just all these, both of these rookies, Zay Flowers and Quentin Johnson. Again, push down the board. Please draft them. Take flyers on your late round picks. Do not take someone like Darnell Mooney or Tyler Boyd with your late round picks. You know exactly what they're going to be this year. Do not take someone like that. Take someone like Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnson, even Kadarius Toney. It's a great value. Don't love the player that much. I think he's really good when he's healthy, but the problem is can't really stay healthy. Take someone like that, or take someone like Jordan Addison, JSN. Take rookies that are going to have upside, or young players or unproven players that are going to have upside, and you're going to realize soon what their value is to their team, what their role is to the team, and it's just going to be overall the best strategy for you. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. Leave any comments, questions, concerns in the comments. I will definitely make sure to answer those comments. And yeah, stay tuned for the ESPN and NFL fantasy version of this video. If you found this helpful, leave a like, subscribe. There will be more content coming. Sorry for the lapse in content. But yeah, make sure to use my code LVRN for Underdog Fantasy for a deposit match up to $100. Get in on these sharp ADP drafts to get ready for your home leagues and get ready to win your home leagues. And hopefully you like this video. Subscribe for more. See ya.